What up, y'all? I'm Rajay.
I was about to say I'm shy right over you. My bad.
It's okay.
Let's go.
What up, y'all? I'm Rajay.
And I'm Shy, and welcome to the RXS podcast.
The podcast where we provide inspiration, motivation, and information to the music community. Gang.
Yes, let's go. So listen.
What up?
What or who are we talking to today?
We got the big homie in the building. So this is a very sentimental episode for me. He talked about some deep, heavy stuff that he's never discussed before. So y'all get ready for a ride.
Let's go.
All right, we here. I got the big homie in the crib. Hey,
Lord Jesus.
Tank.
Ooh.
Tank. If y'all know me, y'all know Tank. If y'all don't know Tank, y'all know Tank because I talk about him.
Do you really know me? I don't know if I know myself sometimes.
Woo! Wow.
Never mind. I guess that's why we here, right?
Right. Hey. So listen. Let's start. Let's go right into it because you already there. Let's start from the top though.
Me and my mouth.
Yes. Let's start from the top, Tank. Tell them where you from.
Starting from the top, man. I am from the wonderful city of Wilson, North Carolina.
2-5 in the building.
252. Formerly 919 for all the older folks that was born, 80 to 85. So anybody after 85, you don't understand.
So they used to have So Wilson used to have 919.
919, man. It was 919.
25.
And then they got 252 because I think whatever was going on, Raleigh was just a better area to have it. So I'm like, okay, cool. So take it, Raleigh. Y'all can have it.
So what was it like growing up in Wilson?
What was it like growing up in Wilson? Family oriented. It's a homie town.
Yeah.
I don't know any other way to say that.
That
it's
is
just
very
homie.
true. That's true.
By that, it's literally your next door neighbor is probably your cousin, your great auntie, uncle, or something down the line. So it's a given. So and anybody that knew you or knows your family, they were able to correct you if something was going wrong. So that's what I'm like when I say homie. Like,
because you can't do that now, Tank.
No,
you can't even so much as raise your voice at somebody's kid.
Man, you can't even do a TikTok or Twitter post about a kid. So
that is true.
Like seriously, you can't do anything now. For those young folks now, y'all got it made.
Yeah, because anybody could whoop you back in the days, and it was acceptable. Like if you were in the core group, they can whoop you, man. They can get you.
They could whoop you.
And then you get home and get a whooping for having to get a whooping.
And then for those who dad probably worked at night, so they weren't home when they found out about it. When you got out of school, he woke up just to get you.
God almighty. Boy, you got 3 sentences for one offense.
One offense. And probably all you did was just decide to jump a fence next door. Because your ball went over there, but you shouldn't have been playing with the ball. Hey, look. Okay, so I gotta say this.
Okay,
and we'll keep digging. But this young lady is grown.
Yo, my daughter.
I gotta understand the situation here. I have traveled many places in my life, and when I came back home the first time, she was sitting between my middle finger and this part of my arm.
Yeah.
Now she up here at my shoulder.
Yes.
That's
it's
amazing.
Crazy.
But
it's crazy.
Beautiful family, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate that, bro.
Again, as we go through, thank you guys for having me.
Man,
y'all already know. I said 24/7. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, bro.
Keep up the work. You and the wife.
Yes. Shy in the building. She behind the camera. Hey.
Where's she at? I know where she at. I'm just playing around. She over here. I appreciate what you guys are doing together.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of things that couples don't do together.
Yeah.
And having a business together, having a vision together
sir.
Is very important. And I appreciate seeing it in y'all. Y'all had it even when we was younger. And y'all know me. I was like, these people. I'm trying, but y'all over here serious. Like, y'all serious. But I'm proud of that, and y'all have maintained. So, I get that sentimental moment out of the way. All right, so Wilson.
So let's go. You grew up in Wilson.
Grew up in Wilson.
So let's go straight to it. You a PK.
All day, every day.
And you're not just a PK.
The best, worst kind of PK.
The worst, best, Worse abyss.
Yeah, I got several titles with that thing.
Wow, we're not gonna disclose those. But listen,
hey, look, it is the usual PK syndrome. And
so did you have the PK syndrome?
I did. I had the PK syndrome off the fact that I knew I could say some things and people would try to correct me. But it's like, well, we can't tell the pastor that. He ain't going to really believe it. So I a few people.
You abuse your PK card.
To y'all, I'm so sorry. I just took advantage of the situation and I tried it. I got away sometime, not every time. But yeah. But no, I was a PK.
And you're not just a PK. Your dad, shout out to Ricky Daughtridge Sr.
What up, man?
He's not just a pastor. He's like an influencer pastor.
Man, that guy.
What is that like?
Pressure. Pressure. Probably something I never talked about. And by the way, this is my first interview. Shout out to the people for first interview. And when I say pressure, it's the pressure of the do's and the don'ts of being a PK, because if I do this, I have to worry about how people feel because I'm a PK. I got to worry about how they're going to view my father. So it kind of forces you to have this mindset that I can only do but so much. And when I do this, I need to be somewhere else. When in actual, oh my God, there go the face. Yes, sir.
Oh, if you know the infamous live face, she is back there making the face.
Yeah. So that was the pressure, and just trying to figure out how to live a life as a young man growing up, being a musician, and your dad's a PK. And I'm not gonna say all musicians are bad, but we've all had our share. I'll leave it at that. And so just trying to navigate through that. So it was definitely pressure, because you don't want to ruin your father's name. You don't want to bring shame, and you figure out how to become who you need to become in whatever situation you're in.
Yeah. So you're a PK, but you're a musician too. So let's go back, and let's talk about the journey of Tank the drummer. How do we end up on drums?
How do we end up on drums? So it started as I was a twinkle in my father's eye of being a drummer. So when I say that, the story goes, being a baby, my dad would take my legs, and whatever beat is playing, he would just take them and do the bass drum and the snare and just do that. He'll mimic the song. So after a while, when a song came on without him being there, my legs would just move to the music.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Pops was training me before I could even walk or even hold my own bottle.
Yeah.
So before I could hold my bottle, I knew how to move my feet to some music.
Yeah, man.
And so that kind of translated to being the little kid. Everybody got the story. I think anybody who grew up in church, your first instrument was a drum.
Yeah, you got them sticks, Doc.
Just because it's the most exciting thing to see.
It's loud. It's the loudest.
It's loud, and you see somebody doing this, and it's like, yes, my hands can move.
I get to move. I get to go crazy.
Yeah, so I saw that, and it just kind of took off, because, again, my feet have been trained at an early age. So probably about 3 when I was able to play at church, which is the craziest thing, because I couldn't sit on the drum throne. My dad had, I'll never forget it, he had the Jelly Bean Lugwood set, which was a Vista Light kit. And anybody that know about those kits, they are beautiful.
Yeah.
So, of course, it's the older, well, I ain't gonna say the older, it was just that particular series that had the 12, 13, 16 toms, and they're deep in the 22-inch bass drum. So I'm 3. I can't see over anything. So I had to take the drum set. They will push the drum set closer. Take the throne. So this is a throne. This is me. And we literally had to push it up against the wall, and I would lean up against the wall, and they pulled the drum set closer so I can play.
So you were standing?
I was standing and playing. I was standing and playing at 3, and they had a drummer there. I can't remember his name. I ain't gonna say what I called him as I got older, but
don't say it.
It wasn't nothing bad. It was his style of playing.
Okay, and so Tank, that's where we get that from. So listen, fast forward. By the time we are with Tank, we have this thing where we can find a nickname associate.
Hey,
we can associate.
He had a nickname. I called him Rim because it seemed like every time that was it.
I know what you talking so like that.
Right, but as I got older, I realized he did a lot of reggae, so that's
why he did it. So to mimic the timbali sound.
So it made sense. But yeah, so he was playing, and 3-year-old me come in, and I'm able to at least keep the tempo going. And everybody knows if you're the PK, which at this time I'm not officially a PK, I am
the son of a...
No, I'm an APK. Okay, associate pastor.
Yeah, APK. I like that.
So, because it was my grandfather's church. And so, of course, as I kept playing... Yo, what's going on? This is your boy Tank Bangin'. I have recently done a collaboration with my brother and my sister, Rajay and Shy, for a dope hoodie that simply says, simple makes sense. If you don't get it, keep reading it, it'll come to you. So if you like the sound of that, please go over to their website. That is rajayxshy.com. Go purchase that hoodie today. Typical situation. You got the young kid coming up.
Yeah.
We ain't got to pay him a whole bunch of money. We ain't got to pay him at all. Because
it's my grandson.
Yeah, it's my grandson. So I started playing more then. And it just grew from that, and I started learning more with my dad because my dad was giving lessons. Which interesting thing is, I never had an official lesson with my dad. I would go to the lessons that he was giving to other guys.
Oh, so you learned from just watching him teach other people?
Yeah. So that's literally how. So
I got a question: were you ever salty that he didn't directly teach you?
No, not at all.
That's good, Tank. Why not?
Because
he was teaching you.
Because he was teaching. They were trying to start playing at church, and I was already playing at church.
Interesting. So you're like, I got that.
Like, I'm just picking up some of the other fundamentals that I didn't have, but I just had the gift to be able to sit down and do stuff.
Okay.
But I don't think, I never got mad about that. Because he would take me,
and
I took the opportunity to play this on this drum. Snare. Move
That's
my
your
stick
kid voice?
up.
That's your kid voice?
Yeah. My dad would, Pops was old school drummer, so a lot of the old school drummers played with the butt end of the stick.
Yeah.
So I didn't like the feel of it. Even now.
It hurts.
It hurts.
It hurts me.
Yeah, because of the way the stick is. But for me, he wanted this solid sound. So I had to figure out how to have a solid sound.
Tank has a solid sound without using that end of the stick.
I'll use it on some stuff, but I just like, man, Pop, I can't do that. And then he tried to buy me these big old 2B. I was like, bruh. My hand ain't even ready for a 2B. I'm still at a strong 7A right now. So I had to figure out how to make the best sound with the stick I wanted to use. So
by the time you know what size sticks you want to use and all that, are we still at Granddad's church?
Oh no, that didn't come until my father, who was at my grandfather's church. And which that church is holiness all day long. And we gonna shout all day. After we finish shouting, we gonna eat some chicken. And then get ready for that 6:30 service where we shout all day then. And I'm like, yo, it's Sunday. I gotta go to school.
So church is an event, like a whole day event.
Man, look, you better come prepared with everything you need. You need to have your extra chicken plate just in case somebody else show up. You need to have your extra garment if you sweated out your last garment. If you need your other wig, bring that with you. It was that. And then my dad at that time, he was still the evangelist. So that means he was traveling too. So we'll go to one service. I think, what was it, like first and fifth Sundays were the services we didn't have at my grandfather's church.
Okay.
But we were somewhere because he was preaching.
Oh, wow.
And then some first and fifth, they would have something there, but it was kind of open. But yeah, it was.
So weekdays, y'all at church too?
If Pops was in a revival during that time, there was a stretch for about 7 months that I remember being in church every single day, Sunday to Sunday, for about 7 months.
Did you get sick of it?
No, I was playing drums.
Come on, Tank.
Like I was.
How old are you at this point?
At this point, I'm about probably 10, 11.
And you playing. So when you turn 10, 11, he like, okay, Tank, you ready?
No, it was still a struggle. Because you got to remember, Pops is a musician.
Oh, he hard on you?
So he had his friends. So
yeah,
sometimes
and all his friends dope.
Yeah, so like the traveling band during that time was Bo Peep, Jonathan
Shout
Sauls.
out Jonathan Sauls.
You had Tuck, Anthony Paul Tucker playing drums.
I know Tuck.
And you
Shout out to
had
Tuck.
you had Eddie B playing bass.
Shout out to Eddie B.
And you had a guy named Jonathan Smith on organ.
I ain't never heard of him.
He's from Rocky Mount.
Wow.
So my father, the idea, which I know we're gonna get to it later, of me picking everyone up.
Yeah,
was
you
him.
was like, yeah, he
Was
had
him.
already.
He did it because Jonathan lived here and he had like one of the first original portable B3s. Like,
oh wow!
I'm not talking about the Norg where you can just grab it.
Yeah.
It's an actual B3, but
and
it's
he would
portable.
travel with your dad. With
Pops
it?
would. I would get out of school. Once I got out of school, he would go get the van. He's like, it's time to roll. So I would leave like my book bag and stuff at the house because I just got out of school. We'll get on the van. He'll go pick everybody up. We'll go do the service. Get out 10:30, 11. He got to take everybody back, but I need to go home. So I'll ride with my mom back home doing homework under the light in the car.
Wow.
And what's so crazy, during that stretch, that was the only time I ever made like the principal's list and straight A's.
Whoa. For that 7 months.
The only time. Everything else was, hey, he got A's and B's. But that particular stretch, that was the one time I made like the principal's list straight A's.
So at what point did you become the only drummer?
That changed, like 10, because we're still at my grandfather's church, and my dad gets the call to go assist at another church. So he was assisting for about a year and a half, just trying to figure out the move, what he wanted to do. We would visit. And of course, this transition was different because we're holiness, and now we're going into the Southern Baptist.
Which are our other brothers and sisters.
Those are our other brothers and sisters that created a division for us.
Okay, wait. We ain't gonna be super churchy. We ain't gonna get super crazy, but just explain it a little bit. Go.
Yeah, Southern Baptist is a predominantly white organization.
Yeah.
And I don't know all the details. I don't have it all correct. So anyone that sees this and like, I just know that it wasn't us in it for a period of time.
Yeah.
Some point in time, it became a division for us because it was, needless to say, probably affirmative action. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they had a division set aside for us.
Yeah.
And so my dad was assisting a pastor who was there trying to get the church off the ground. And that's how we slid over into that world. So now we're going into Southern Baptist, probably like a year and a half before we officially went over, and my dad was the assistant pastor there. So imagine being the drummer from 4. I'll give a good 4 because 3 they still going back, but like 4 until 11, I'm playing pretty much every Sunday to go to a church that don't have drums. And now I'm sitting in the audience, and I love my grandfather, God rest his soul, but he told my dad he couldn't take the drums. So we didn't have a drum set going over to the...
Nope.
Nah.
You ain't taking them.
We got to have something here, so, which was cool. I think a part of that gave me a chance to listen to music a little bit more. So learning words to songs, like if I learn something, whether it's for artists or I'll say an artist, I love words. And the reason I love words because I can play off the words.
Tank does that.
Yeah, and I know where to go in the song. So now I'm sitting in a church, no drums.
Are you on the front row, second row? What row you on?
Man, whatever row I felt like sitting on, because it said about 1,200 and we only have about 5 people in there. So I would just go sit somewhere just to sit. Empty. You could throw a brick and hit nothing. You couldn't even hit air.
So when y'all get to the church, first of all, it is Glory Baptist Church, 502
Southwest Jordan Street. Yeah.
Gang,
GBC.
gang.
That is that.
So
man.
y'all go there when it's Reverend Daughtridge is the assistant pastor. And there's 5 people in that boy. And y'all ain't got no drums?
Yeah, maybe 4. Maybe 4. No drums. There was like a old beat up piano that
Was somebody playing it?
every now and then.
Okay. So we mainly a cappella.
Mainly, that's it. So now I've hate to say it. This is where I developed my tambourine skills.
Okay, let's talk about it. All
right,
right,
so I'm gonna give you a quick story. So we are visiting this other church, and it's around the political season, and I think it was Mayor Bruce Rose was there, and he ain't got no drums, no nothing. I played the shine out of the tambourine that night. Well, I think I had blisters and everything. I will not forget this tambourine because I didn't have one with me.
Had you ever? Okay, so you were. Oh, you from a holiness church?
Oh,
what am I asking?
well, look here. You already know everybody got a tambourine. Either got the cross or the praying hands. It's black and white.
Yes, sir.
Or it's the all black with the gold. You better know. You better have a tambourine in holiness.
Yeah.
Especially when the music stops and they want to keep going. Yeah. So So we get to this church and choir singing, and I'm like, man, I can't play no drums. So I sat on the front row and went to work. So that was when he gave me like this little keychain that had the city. This is the key to Wilson. It's like, I'm gonna give you this key, young man. You sat over there and you just played that tambourine.
Tank got a key to the city. He must have really played that tambourine.
I was hot. I was like, man,
why?
Because again, you coming from playing almost every Sunday to now not playing, and it's like something got to change. Something got to give.
Okay, now let's talk about that change. When did you get back on the drums?
Man, 12 years old.
Okay.
Pioneer Music was downtown back then.
Shout out to Pioneer.
And that's when Daryl was working there. Short Bus.
Daryl Horn in the building.
Hey,
let's go.
Shout out to D. So
dang,
we walk in the store and there's this Pearl Export series sitting there.
We just talked about that.
Yeah, congratulations.
That's crazy.
And I see it, I'm like, oh man, it's like this midnight purple. Ooh. And I'm like, yo.
Is this the set that I'm familiar with?
Yes, that's the very first set.
Whoa! Okay.
That was my first real set. Of course, I like growing up, you got your little kid sets, but at an early age, I realized I was heavy-handed, so I was going through them things. Like the only solid, and my dad will know, the only solid drum set I had coming up was a rocking chair. It was a red rocking chair that I beat the shot. If you sat in it, you would be pulling blisters out your can for a good year and a half. So that was my most solid kit. And then when I got the bigger kit, the foot pedal was like the little plastic with a spring, and I broke it.
Yeah.
I was so determined to keep playing this kit, I figured out how to wrap my toes around the bar and still play the bass drum on this kit. My dad will tell you, because he looked at me once, he's like, how are you playing this kit? I just took my feet and I did this and it plays. And so it was like, okay, all right, you're serious.
You're serious.
And so fast forward to the kit. It's in the store. I see it.
How much is it?
Man, it was $600.
Is that a lot of money for your dad?
Back then, it's a little healthy because again, Pops had the full-time job, coming off the full-time job to go straight to ministry. So it's like, man, that's a bit much. So what we can do is put this boy on layaway.
Yeah.
So they put it on layaway, and every day I'd be like, can we ride by the store? Yeah. Of course, by then the kit wasn't on the floor; they had it in the back. And then I remember just that one fateful day I got out of school. And so at that time, we lived around the corner from the church, and then my school was like 4 blocks up the road. So I would walk to the church, and I never forget the day I walked in, and that kit was sitting in the church. They finally got it out.
So they didn't take you to the store. You walk in the church and it's set up?
I walked in the church.
What was your response?
I had like a tear for like a half a second, and then I was like, I ain't got no drumsticks. So again, because
the typical kid.
Because my grandfather we didn't take the kit, and I wasn't playing, so I didn't have like a little stick bag or nothing like that. So we went to the store, got us some sticks, and the rest is history. Starting at the movement at GBC.
So once your dad gets the kit for you, are you playing drums? Like do we have a band? What we got?
No,
going on?
it's at this time we had floating keyboard players, piano players.
Okay.
And it's just me. But during that time, because I I did go to school up the street. I would get home. Well, I would leave school. I'll walk to the church. Shout out to Miss Gloria, who was the secretary at the time.
Yeah.
We had a routine. I got out of school. I go to the office. We'll go to the store. I would get 2 hot dogs, chili ketchup, 2 potato wedges, a
Tank,
drink.
how old were you?
At this time, I'm like, like 11, 12.
He eats the same thing
I sure
today.
did. Not as much. So for those who know, not as much. But yeah. So that was the routine. We'll go get food, go through homework, and then at that time we used to lock all the instruments in the fellowship hall. So I would go to the fellowship hall, pull the drums out, and whatever the hot artist or gospel artist that I heard or had a cassette of, I would be in the fellowship hall until they said it's time to go, just playing drums all day, all night. And that was it. That was it for me. Like, I didn't care about nothing. I wasn't trying to play no basketball. I wasn't trying to play no football.
Yeah.
When I left school, food, homework, drums.
So I got a question. Are we thinking at this point, you say you're 12?
Yeah, I'm about 12.
Are you already like having dreams about what you want to accomplish as a drummer, or you just focus on playing drums?
I'm focused on playing because, again, you got to remember it's Wilson. There's no social media. So the only thing I do know is a little bit of the quartet world.
Yeah, because
So,
Wilson is quartet.
Yeah, it's Quartet Central, but I'm not thinking about, I want to go play for this quartet group. I'm like, I just want to get better. I want to play.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to learn,
Yeah.
what we call cheesy licks at sometimes. I'm trying to learn them shaka-doo, baka-doo, boom. Like, I'm trying to learn this, which is so crazy. I say that thinking about it from that point, like, oh man, this lick, it sounds got a little cheese on it, but
there was a point in time where you were trying to learn how to do them,
and I still use them.
Yeah, man.
So that was it. That was it. School, church, and that's it. I did that probably about 2 years. So from 12 going into 15, but we still had, like, of course, musicians coming in. Now we got musicians coming in, but I still kept that same regimen.
Yeah. So at this time, is the choir established yet?
It's getting there.
Okay.
At this time, Pops is having the itch to do shows with the choir. Pops is a pastor, but he's also the prime entertainer.
God, he's an entertainer.
He loves that idea of being able to entertain because he's a music guy. He loves music. It's just in him. He wants to do it. So we got a couple of faithful members that are interested in doing it. We had like the core family, which was Miss Gloria.
Shout out.
Shamika, my sister.
Shout out.
Her sister Sean.
Shout out.
And their aunt Angela Proctor, and then their grandmother, Mother Rebecca, who was there. So the choir's kind of forming, and then we started to get more people to start coming in. So it became like, we got to do something. Like, I want to do something. And
if you know Reverend Daughtridge, if he get an itch, Doc, he ain't gonna stop till it get to getting.
He figured out a way to make this thing happen, and I think during that time, musician-wise, that's where Terry Fuller started helping out more. Man,
one of the goats.
Like
one of the goats.
One of the legends in the area. That Fremont. Is it Fremont?
Yes,
Fremont,
exactly.
Goldsboro area. So he would come in and help when we started doing like the anniversaries and the choir. But like the first anniversary, I was on the line, Doc. I was in the tenor section, boy.
What were you wearing? Take, please tell it. Please tell it. Please tell it.
All right, so I almost spit this water everywhere.
Please tell what you were wearing.
Which was, what was so crazy? It was just a black suit.
Okay.
Right? It was a black suit.
Okay, that's decent.
Yeah.
That's chill.
But I had all the colors.
I knew something was in there.
So on the suit jackets, I had all the colors of the different sections. So it was like red.
So the sections had colors?
Yeah, so they had colors.
Yes, y'all, this is classic choir.
But I forgot what the actual tenor section had. They had on something different. But, that's like, well,
who put the colors on your coat?
They had somebody make.
Somebody had to custom that, boy.
Yeah, it was. And guess how many times I wore it?
That one time.
And one time.
So you a tenor at the first anniversary.
At the first anniversary.
And this is what's the choir called at this point?
Glory Baptist Vision Choir.
Glory Baptist Vision Choir.
Yeah, this is the
and
first.
And you a tenor, first anniversary
I
tenor.
am singing.
So who playing
tenor.
drums?
Skeet.
Shout out to Skeet. That's Terry Fuller brother.
Yes, sir. One of the.
That's another one of the giants.
One of the first guys I started watching on a regular basis.
Did he have the gloves on?
Yes, he had the gloves on. And he had that white kit. I loved that white kit. That was my dream to play that white kit. Like I'm gonna play that kit one day.
Yeah.
And man, look, this is also a time I tell people don't miss opportunities. So they were rehearsing Terry's group, the choir.
The workshop choir.
Music.
Yeah, workshop choir.
I could never say it. I tore it up all the time. So I'm sitting on the bench, and Terry's like, "Go play, man. We're gonna do this song."
He's telling you to play.
I said no. I was like, man. Thinking back, like, why would I say no? But that was the nerves part. Yeah. And I tell guys now,
at this point, that's a lot of Terry Fuller and that choir being in that rehearsal
with the crew. Man, look,
that's like
I didn't want to get up there and embarrass myself.
That's a big deal, yeah.
I did not. I was like, nah, I'm good. And so my Uncle Ant, God rest his soul, love you. He was like, man, go play them drums. And I was like, nah. And from that day on, if I ever got an opportunity to play and somebody asked me to play, I played.
Never said no again.
I never said no. So young guys, don't turn the opportunities.
Yeah, because you never know what they can turn into.
Never know. And I never knew.
Right. So you do tenor. What happens the next year?
The next year. So
second anniversary, Glory Baptist.
Second anniversary. We are now moving and shaking.
Okay.
We got a few more shows, and we're starting to get other musicians kind of coming in to play. And by the time we get to that second one, I was determined, like, y'all ain't replacing me. I ain't singing no more. If y'all think I'm going to sing another note in this year choir, you is sadly mistaken. They ain't singing nothing else. Them had me trying to lead songs with the youth choir. I said, nah, we done. We done.
Ho.
And
okay, so wait. For y'all out there that don't know, y'all just hearing it. But for all the homies, we ain't know they tried to make them lead no song.
Boy, look here.
Tank, this is new news, bud. What was the song, bud?
I did. What is the song? I moved from my old house. I moved from my old friends. I moved. So, oh yeah, yes sir.
Jesus.
Yes sir. That was.
I moved from.
No, but it was the Jadget. I moved from.
I was hoping house. It was. There we go. That's so better.
Yeah, and I was.
They youthified it.
It's actually I forgot the artist that did it, and in the song is like this stupid high note, and they just booked. Oh God, I hate I did.
Tank hit a high note. Tank hit a high note.
And that was.
Is there a video?
Well, I like to say it, so we ain't supposed to say. Y'all was about
There's a video, Tank.
Y'all was about
I'm going to ask Miss Cynthia Daughtridge for that.
I don't think it's one.
Doctor.
Y'all was about to be like Martin was. No, not Martin, but Stan.
What'd he say?
When Martin went off on old boy for getting that Gina. You better not. You better not. I was getting ready to go in. You asked about a video. Nah. Yeah, so that's what I did. Yeah, so singing, and so now we're getting out of my singing. So the second one, yeah, so I'm like, I'm determined, I'm gonna play, and I think that year Terry played again, and it was on from there. So now we're moving and shaking, and now other musicians are starting to come in. So man, the list of the great musicians that came through, you had Mark Green,
shout out,
Cornelius Renfro.
One of my idols,
Twain Moody,
Beast.
We had Gino for
Mr.
Gino. For those who know Mr. Gino, I'm just gonna say Mr. Gino. Mr. Gino was a special guy. I love him. I think he's passed. I'm not 100%, but God rest his soul. We just had different people coming in and out, and then of course we got I call him my big little brother, which is Ray.
Yeah,
Ray Braswell
shout out to
Jr.
Ray Braswell Jr. Gang.
Yes,
He want to start us all out.
We had Nate Kearney come in.
Shout out to Nate Kearney.
We had Eddie B play for us.
Shout out to Eddie B.
So we just had like this revolving door of musicians.
Great musicians.
Like people.
Great musicians.
Maurice Morgan came in.
Shout out Morgan.
Jerome actually played one time.
For real?
Yeah, he
Shout
filled
out
in.
To Morgan brothers because they all nice.
George played one time.
George who?
George Zickens.
Are you serious?
He came through and played. So there's actually a story with that family that a lot of people don't know concerning my dad. So when my dad would run his revivals, there's a little city called Dodge City.
Okay.
He used to do that revival. It was like an annual thing.
Yeah.
Their group was the group that sung during that week.
Wow. The disciples.
The
Gospel disciples.
So they were all young. So this is when Bruce was playing drums.
Bruce was playing drums at first. Shout out to Bruce Dickens.
I met them because what happened was...
Yeah, Bruce was a drummer, babe. Yeah. You didn't know that? A solid drummer, too.
Yes.
For real.
Bruce was on drums. And so that's where we met them. And this, I'm talking about, I was like 10 or 9.
Yeah.
And that's when I played... what was the song I played with them? Rance Allen. Shot.
Miracle Worker. Yeah. Hey, Steve said that's his joint too.
So that was my introduction to them, and we've been boys ever since. Yeah. So George actually came in and played a few times. So we just had the revolving doors, and then it didn't become like a solid situation until Twain came in. That's when I had someone that was there on a consistent.
I got you.
Like every day. Now I'm learning what to listen for with a consistent.
So was that during the time when Twain was solid, did that make a difference in your learning?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because now you got to remember, I'm playing with a lot of different people. So I got a lot of different styles I'm hearing and I'm trying to figure out, and I'm still learning. Like I'm not nowhere near the 18, 19-year-old Tank. I'm still this young kid that's excited about learning stuff that my head is expanding. Like I'm getting in trouble for playing. Yeah. Like Pops was like, you started to do too many fields on these times. And literally, thank you, Dad. I appreciate it. You took my times away for like 2 months.
He said you playing these times too much. You know what? I'm going to take them away.
If
you ain't got no time.
If you do one more field in this hymn, if you do one more in this hymn, bro, and he took them away and made me focus on.
That's real for you.
And I'm not talking about like rehearsals. I'm talking about shows, church services. I could not play times at all. If they were on the kit and I couldn't take them off, I had to move them so I wouldn't hit them.
Shout out to Reverend Daughtridge.
Oh yeah,
Ricky Sr. is the guy.
Yeah, so yeah.
Look at me. That's fire. Okay, cool.
So yeah,
you gonna keep hitting times? All right. How about you got
man, look, I'll never forget it.
One.
We was in a service, and I had just kind of figured out how to do the kind of like the two. I'm just figuring it out.
That's Tank's thing. That was his thing.
I'm figuring it out too. I'm figuring how to put it in every song, whether it's a ballad, it is a up tempo, a shout, whatever. And he was like, "Nah, you missing the mark, son. Let me get these times.
Let me get that. Let me run me them times."
And one symbol was a ride symbol. It wasn't even a crash. I didn't have like a crash and a ride.
But
it was a ride.
It makes sense now because when you play now, you only use drums as necessary. But now it makes sense because you got stripped all year. So now you are literally one of the most intentional drummers I know. But it makes sense because Pops was like, hey. And then, not to mention, we're going to get there. But your dad's solid, man.
Man, look.
So I'm going to fast forward because we got to get through it all before we do the thing.
Yeah. Let's.
Third anniversary, where are we?
Third anniversary, by this time, I think Twain is in full effect playing.
Uh-huh.
And it's me and him. And he's playing key bass. And
that's where that mess started at.
So yeah, so we're just.
Because your daddy started to believe in some key bass.
But the reason was because that was what was dependable.
Accessible. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. And not because the guys didn't want to come play. They already had other things they were doing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to get somebody to commit when they already doing other stuff, which was understandable. Because one thing about my dad, he never wants to pigeonhole any musician he's ever worked with to where you better be here. You got to be here. Now, with me, it's a different story.
Yeah, you my son. You gonna be here if ain't nobody here. If it's just you and the choir.
Look here. I was supposed to be out at 14, 15, and that joker said,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Don't you're not going to do it. I'm like, Pop. Matter of fact, God rest his soul, and few people do know the story. Keith Wonderboy.
Shout out to Keith.
Like 14, 15. He was like, can you play?
Yeah.
Can you?
So he must have been there with Ray.
Yeah.
They came to the church?
No. We was at an event.
Okay.
And I think we was kind of talking about it, like, hey man, you can play, you can do this. And so it's like kind of the idea, like, can we get him? And my dad heard, and Pops was like, nah, you good, son.
So you would have been a spiritual voice.
Man, I probably would have been a spiritual voice for a little hot second.
Rev said, "Nah, you gonna be over here at GBC.
Dunzo.
So I want to ask you a question. Are y'all doing the 2 nights a week rehearsals at this point?
So at that time, it's Monday and Thursday.
Okay.
So Monday and Thursday. So
I know Tuesday and Thursday.
So this is Monday and Thursday, and it was brutal. And I ain't gonna say for me, it was just for the choir. It was brutal. And again, keep in mind, those who know the story and the history of the church, 85, I say it's from 70 to about 85% of the church is off the street because they were big on street ministry. So everybody wasn't in tune with singing. They probably can hold a tune, but it wasn't the greatest. No shade to nobody. So anybody that see this, I'm not shading because he drilled me. So please believe I'll put me first.
Drilled me.
Yeah. So y'all, they got drilled. So they would get there. And this was him also testing their dedication. So they would get there about 6:30 to do vocal warm-ups first.
So they doing la 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 me
la la
do dee do
with no piano. They just going for what they know to do.
So boy, I know that intonation was off in there.
But it wasn't.
What?
Shaun White, which is one of the singers, she has like one of the world's most incredible ear.
Wow.
You can put 50 people singing. And if somebody sings a note that is wrong,
she got it.
She knows exactly who it is, and she knows exactly what note you sung wrong.
That's crazy.
Shaun
so
White.
She was on point with it.
She was on point with it, and so she was in charge of them. So now, it wasn't a whole bunch of keyboard playing, but they drilled. So this is why the choir was what it was at that time.
So the culture was built then.
It was built then. So then, how old are you at this point with the Monday and Thursday? At this point, we're looking at about 13, 14.
Okay, so we're gonna fast forward again.
Let's do it.
When does the session happen?
The session is right at 15.
Okay, so 2 years go by before it's time to record.
Before it's time to record.
So between in those 2 years, what made your dad say it's time to record?
His love for the music, and that the songs were working. And when I say working, they had an effect on people.
So, okay, let's talk about that. The songs that were recorded on the Caught Up album.
Caught Up.
He was already singing them?
Yeah.
Because they were written by Jonathan Bo-Peep Sauls, sung by Ray Braswell.
Yep.
Who else? Were they the only two?
They were the only two, and then the cover, Rise Up, Jackson Southern Airs.
So how long were y'all singing them before he recorded them?
Ooh, probably about two years.
Whoa!
Like, because he had been working on them for a while, so it was like, here go a new song. Here go a new song. So now we're just trying to put stuff together.
Yeah.
And also what happened that really pushed the envelope was, everybody know when you go to your choir anniversaries and all that stuff, it is possible for another choir to sing the song you done rehearsed.
So Rev is so...
Yeah.
This is the thing about Reverend Daughtridge that's cold. He's the guy that says, we should sing our own songs.
Absolutely.
He's like that.
And it happened. Like, we were at a church. I can't remember. I think it was in Henderson. And at that time, Long As I Got King Jesus was like that joint. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Chris.
Yeah.
Chris said he saw Nate killing that.
There it is. And so, of course, at this time, we're moving more, so we are closing, so to speak.
If you know what that means, you know what that means.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be...
You the
not
head.
Supposed to be...
Hey, look. We keep it 100.
Closers are the headliners, right, babe? That means you the
not everybody closing is a headliner.
Dang.
I'm just gonna tell you the truth.
So he closing.
So we
closing.
So
that means y'all hear somebody sing it before y'all.
So I'm outside.
I know y'all were devastated.
And I just hear, I said, oh, that song is done. And so now my dad is like, this is why we working on songs. This is why we doing this.
That's him.
From that moment, from that show, I think that's when like majority of songs had already been kind of written. But that Monday, we was in there grinding on every single song. So from that show on out, it never became us singing any other songs but what was on the Caught Up album.
That's cold.
So yeah, so the Caught Up album is coming into play. But at this time, the band is now even more of a solid thing, which is now me and Ray. So, because he's playing key bass and playing keys, and he's the minister of music at the church.
Yeah.
So now I really have a God. I have my dad and I have Ray. Like
because Ray is a producer too.
Man, look.
That's the thing.
Good God.
That's the thing.
He produced the shine out of me, Doc. And he knows it. Like when I wound up moving to Cali, I made it a point to kind of reach back out and call.
Yeah.
And one of my biggest thing was I said, I thank you for the discipline.
Yeah.
Because again, my times got taken away, but I'm still growing. So now even more vocabulary of a drummer is coming.
Yeah.
And if I started expressing my words too much on the drums, I'll look over. That mean, hey Doc, you need to find that pocket because you is wilding. So,
and if you know Ray, know Ray. Man.
He would check me, and I appreciate it because it that's what shaped me to think about music and think about placement.
Yeah.
So we're doing the caught up, and I'm a strong 15 and excited and unlearned.
Yeah.
I had the world's biggest kit.
I wish we had. Do you have a picture, Tank?
It's probably somewhere on my Facebook, but that's not that picture on my Facebook isn't the kit. It's a portion of it, but that kit.
It was bigger than that on the session.
No, but it was just big because you got to remember we're still choir tet, so it's still kind of
so you
quartet.
got okay. Just for the drummers that's watching this, Tank is 15 years old. Lay it out, Tank.
15. And on this kit, it is 5 times.
Name it. I want every piece, Tank.
But it's a mix. It's what we call a Frankenstein kit.
Okay.
So when I say that means for the homies that know when we say Frankenstein kit, every drummer there is by another company.
Okay.
So I had an 8 and a 10 tom. That was old school Blackhawk. Anybody didn't know that old school Blackhawk was like a solid company back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had the 12, 13 tom, rack tom, which were pearl.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think my 16, it was either pearl or Tama. I can't remember because I had jacked up one of the legs on the kit.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to fix stuff yet.
Yeah.
And then the bass drum was pearl. So that kit was a mixture. So you're talking about doing...
You cut a record. You cut the record with a Frankenstein kit.
Yeah.
Whoa, this is news to me.
The toms, I had the toms painted the color of the pearl kit. Those original toms were burgundy. Yeah, so I had them painted for just the look of it. But so I had the 8, 10, 12, 13, 16. And the snare, oh my God, that was probably the most embarrassing but yet learning process about a session.
What happened with the snare, Tank?
All right, quartet. Y'all know the deal. Everybody know quartet is Crank City. And when Crank City comes in, it depends on that snare. And that snare of choice was that Ludwig snare. Everybody
that middle school black boy.
No, it was the silver one.
Same concept though.
Same
the middle
concept.
school one though.
Yep. But it's
with the thing on the thing that you can twist.
Inside, I turned the boy off because I got tired of it. I don't want my snare muffled. I need it tight and popping. So we get in the sound check. So while we're in the sound check, I'm checking. Bing. And so I'm sweet. And then it's a sound engineer. I cannot remember the crew what it was. It was the same crew that did the Cantons. What was that crew called? I forgot. And so anybody who knows most companies that come in, they ain't always thinking about church like we think about church.
They are there to record the session. And it don't matter the genre.
And he said, "What in the hell are you playing?" He said, "Man, son, he got a wood block up there." And so the snare I had pried in, the snare I done tuned to make sure it sounds like I'm playing, was not used. I used a piccolo, slightly detuned, which belonged to Braswell.
Shout out to Ray.
I will never forget it.
Were you hurt?
Absolutely. Because
they took your crank snare and you got to record. This your first
This
thing.
was officially my snare.
Yeah.
But let me tell you the good thing about the Lord. He'll bless you. He'll bless your drums.
Yes.
That snare is a snare used on the Live in Rocky Mount. Yeah. Yep.
the same bay. We're going right back to it.
Yep. So that snare,
Burden Lifters.
that snare it finally got recorded on the Burden Lifters live in Rocky Mount.
And that's classic, Tank. Your snare made it.
It made it.
It made it. It was a long time coming, but it made it.
It made it.
How many years was it before Uncle Donnie used that snare?
I don't even know.
Anyway, it made it. So Tank, after the session, what time is it? Okay, we're going to fast forward.
He's doing up. Yeah, he's doing up. He's doing up. Yeah. He's doing up. New thing. I'm so glad that he's doing up. A new thing.
Okay, after the session, you 15.
Mm-hmm.
How many years is it between the session and us?
Ooh, how many years is that? So if I'm 15, y'all came in around the time of me turning 18.
Okay, so
it's a 3-year process of going through musicians. We had Braswell, and then Nate came in and started playing bass. Then Braswell went out full time, and then we searched for a keyboard player, and we got Kevin Wilson for a while.
yes,
Which is another monster, another OG in the area.
yeah,
Shout out to Kevin.
yeah.
So then we had that crew for a while, and then Nate started getting calls to do the other things. And again, my dad does not try to hold nobody nowhere.
Yeah.
So Nate gets his call, and it's time for Kevin, to go. I forgot it was like a church or something, another situation,
Yeah.
which was great. No problem.
Yeah.
And so by this time we're like, we ain't got nobody again. So we just kind of pulling. So we had Keith to come in. It was Keith Sampson.
Keith Sampson, shout out to Keith.
So he came in and started playing, but he was living like 2 to 3 hours. I think it was like a 3-hour
Newbern,
drive.
right?
Yeah, it was like a nice little hump. So I'm like, Pop, we got to do something, man. And I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you know my dad is big on, I'm not going to say he's big on a certain image and a certain thing he's looking for.
Yeah.
And when I say that, meaning that the route I wanted to go didn't match what he had as what he wanted to have. And it was going to require a lot of work and a lot of time that him being a full-time pastor, he couldn't devote that time to it. So I'm like, Pop, give me this chance. I got an idea to try a young band.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, a young band? I'm like, yeah. Well, how young we talking about? Like, oh, it's gonna be young. It's gonna be young. Now, the youngest person ain't even got teenage by his situation yet. It ain't even a teen. It's still just numbers.
Yeah.
And so it happens where your name comes up, but his name come up, Jamal, everybody who knows him.
Yeah.
His name come up because of the second live recording I did at 16,
Oh.
which was with a group called New Vision with Braswell and your uncle.
Shout out Uncle Ty.
Uncle
Yeah.
Ty. And he was like, man, my nephew he playing keys. I was like, okay, your nephew playing keys. Now the nephew I remember was playing drums, so now he's
So
playing
did you
keys.
know? So you knew that's who we was talking about?
Yeah, because I
Okay.
had already, because I've been doing the
My
fam for a
dad,
while. I've been
yeah.
doing everybody for a while.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, that is a keyboard player situation because I know the family, and if he's on keys, yes. So I'm like, Pop, I got the idea. I want to call Jamal. Who's Jamal? And now, so by this time, we actually saw you playing. I forgot what show. It was somewhere you were playing.
Keys?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I can't remember where it was, but I saw you and I was like, okay, yeah, that's definitely it. I said, let's get Jamal. Now, at the same time, Demetrius is already at the church.
Shout out Demetrius McCray.
D, little brother.
That's our boy.
He's already at the church. So he's been sitting under Twain with his book. He's been sitting under Kevin's encyclopedia. Yeah.
Yes.
So he's been doing that. And so I'm like, we got the organ player. We got the keys. So, okay, we're good. And we just noticed that you could play key bass because we didn't have an idea for a bass player yet.
Right.
So that's where I'm like, okay, we got to do it. So I'm still like, Pop, we can do this. Like, just give me a chance. And he's like, yo, if we going to do it, it's on you.
Whoa.
It's on you.
And you are how old?
I'm 18, 17.
Are you still in school?
I'm still in school, 17, 18.
Where are you going to school?
Bedingfield. Let's go. BHS Bruins.
So
I ain't seen
you
that.
you at Bettingfield.
I'm at Bettingfield.
Your daddy said you got to. If we do this, it's on you.
If we do it, it is solely on
And
you.
I remember rehearsal. I was nervous as crap, Tank.
No,
Did y'all have lights on or something?
Because
it felt dim in there.
It was dim because when we would do stuff, we didn't have the lights over the pews. We just had the lights that was over the
Yes, because I remember it being dim. I remember it being dim at the rehearsal, which made me I was already like, because y'all have to understand. I have already declared that some kind of way I'm gonna play at this church. I seen Tank, I seen you, Kevin, and Jamario together at some coliseum or auditorium or something. And you had that snare with the red and blue looking things on there. The DW snare.
Oh, right.
So it's y'all three.
Shout out to Norman, my barber, Uncle Norm. That snare, and I tell anybody, young musicians, I try to support as much as possible. He supported me with that snare. If anybody know about the DW snares,
they're not cheap.
They're not cheap, and that one was a custom snare, and it's on the inside. I got the date on it, inside and everything. It was August the 13th, 2006. And he said, if you want it, I need to know that you will match what I'll go have as long as you go and get the work done. I was still playing drums at the church, and I saved my money. I went to get my haircut, and when I walked through the door, I said, here's the money. Ooh. So that weekend, I went to Guitar
That's an iconic snare too, Tank. When I seen y'all, I was like, yo.
So shout out to Uncle Norm for believing in me. But
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I see y'all, I'm like, I don't know how, but this is fly. Because what messed me up, seeing Jamario is what messed me up. Mm-hmm. I'm like, this choir is fire. And if that kid is up there, surely, I don't know how, but I can get up there. So when my mama said, Tank called you, I said, you're telling a lie.
Yes, sir.
Tank, you called my mama, bro.
I called your mama. Man, Sharon, I gotta get your baby boy out this door. I gotta get the baby boy to come play. And she was like, okay, well, how's this gonna work? We live out here.
Which was Sawston. We lived in Wayne County in Sawston, North Carolina.
We live out here.
I know jokers ain't never heard of that.
So, and I said, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I'll take care of that. We just want to, we want to get him in. I'm putting together this young band that I want to believe in and put my time and effort in it. So, we got you. We had D on the horizon.
Uh-huh.
And so now the next piece is, of course, is you getting tired of playing key bass.
I was sick of that key bass.
And through the same, which is so funny about everybody that's in the crew, other than D wanted to play. Everybody wanted to be a part of the band. They wanted to be a part of the situation. So we had this other young guy, Christopher Stevenson.
Shout out, Chris.
Which interesting story about him is that he auditioned on keys.
Oh, he flanked. So y'all got to go watch that podcast with me and Chris, because he told how he bombed. And was it you and Nate?
It was me and Nate and my dad.
Like, no, sir.
And I was like, bruh, you got another finger to finish out this chord. I love you, brother. I love you. Yeah. I was like, nah. And so at this time, the young band is not on my mind because we got the older guys. Had it been on my mind, I could have been like, okay. But I won't think about that. I had Nate. I'm like, I got Nate.
Oh, the OG, he's solid too.
And so he played higher place with 2 notes.
So you get it. So you get us.
So now we do the show in Greenville at the hotel.
Yes.
And he comes over and he's like, yo, I play bass.
Yeah.
I can play bass.
And I'm looking at Tank like, I told Tank, I don't care. If all he know is that CD, that's fine with me.
And I will say to this day, and I don't know if I said it to you or to Chris, you are the reason he got in the band.
Your dad going right. I said.
And I'm going to tell you why.
Hey.
Because I, at this particular time, was like, dog, I ain't.
No. Because my key bass game. Even though I did not want to play key bass, Tank.
You were killing it.
Tank.
You were killing and two. Now, mind you, I'm still young.
Tank,
I'm still young.
I know that's another route.
This is another dog.
This is another bus stop.
The magic school bus in this piece.
But here's the thing. It has to be funny for you because you like. After we said yes, it's like, this is what I was putting together. It has to be crazy. Yeah. So I have to fast forward because we got to get to the other stuff.
We got to.
So then G comes. As not nothing.
As someone who, if he didn't hang around, the road would have been a different story.
Yes.
And also the connection was that his dad and my dad were
best friends.
Still best friends to this day. Still best friends. So it was like, okay, if he saw something there, so guess what? Let's do it. So we said, hey, what can you play?
And I was like, listen, let me tell you something. At this time, I'm listening to records, and I'm like, Rev is really like, he want us to play everything on here. We is running out of hands. We running out of hands, man.
Hey, Doc, I can't play but so much on this kit. If you ask me to play one more pattern on this hi-hat, when you ride, Doc, look, Pop, it's two hands right. So he comes in and he starts playing. He was at MPC.
Yeah, he was at MPC.
And gradually kept moving forward to the synth and started playing lines.
Horns,
and then
strings.
Then chorus started coming in, and it's like, you sure?
Yeah, it got crazy.
But you got to, and then when you look at the time frame, we weren't together for like years. It was just the amount of
time we spent in that little amount of time.
Yeah, and he became just
ice cold.
So we got him, and then of course at that point we get G. We get Antonio Hart.
That was crazy.
That was crazy. Shout out to Antonio Hart. So
amazing.
So that's the core of the band, and it was my responsibility to make sure y'all guys was good, and I took that as like, hey, this is what I wanted. So my responsibility is to uphold you guys and make sure y'all were good. Like, y'all never, and if you can correct me if I'm wrong, y'all never had to spend anything because I made sure y'all were good.
We didn't spend money and we got paid.
And I'm like,
we didn't spend money and we got paid.
And that's because
like we really got paid, Tank. The whole band got paid.
Absolutely.
I thought that was crazy.
No, I fought, and my dad fought once he realized that we were growing to what he always wanted to have in a band.
Yes. So I got to ask you a question. As a drummer, is that like, okay, this is another level? Because this is different. Because at this time, have y'all, before us, was the band ever that big at one time?
No.
Okay.
It was usually a two-piece, me and a keyboard player. And then when Nate came in, we had a bass player on a regular basis.
So now we have bass, drums, guitar, main keys, organ, aux.
A whole
band.
A whole boy.
Okay, so I want to ask you a question. What is the biggest lesson that you learned through that experience with us?
Communication with different people.
Ooh.
And when I say that, I'll often tell you that I watch basketball and I check out Greg Popovich, and he was talking about how he couldn't coach Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker the same way. All of them had different personalities.
Yeah.
So with y'all, I had to know who I could say certain things to get certain things out of you.
Yeah.
And so that taught me the people skills in that department of life, just dealing with music and being able to talk to people. That was one of the biggest lessons, because I couldn't, Chris, I can go to and just be hardcore, like, yo, brother. And, and with you, I had to be like, yo, bro, like, let's look at it from this point of view. And it's not because I wanted to be different, but I knew I just couldn't approach all y'all the same way. Now, when it became the corporate, all of us doing stuff together, then it was like, we doing this, and this, and we moving forward.
Yes.
But it taught me how to deal with people where they are and understand that everybody has a certain way that they want to be talked to, and they receive stuff differently.
And did you see yourself as a leader?
No. I just knew I was the guy that if we want to make this thing work, I need to have my place in line. Like, I need to make sure I got the times and stuff down when you get out of school, what time I'm gonna have you back, what time we gonna leave. Like, you gotta remember, this is the heyday of no GPS.
No.
So I'm learning all these back roads just off people saying, all right, once you get up here, you're gonna look for a 755 and go this way. But ironically enough, we never got lost.
Never.
We never got lost.
That's
during that
crazy.
time. And I was guessing some nights, dog.
Tank never told us that. Tank was guessing, coming to pick us up.
Well, I was guessing because it was coming from Farmville to your way.
So you went to get Chris first. You
Depend-
went from Wilson.
Depends on what day it was, and depends on who had the most homework and who needed to be home earlier.
Yeah, that's a
it was,
lot.
It was a legit
Tank.
schedule,
Tank, that's a lot.
and I wouldn't trade any of it for
That's
the
a
world.
lot. I be thinking. Sometimes I be like, yo, Tank, man, because I don't know that I would have done that. I think about who I am as a person, and I'm not sure. But the crazy thing is, you had a vision, bro, and it came to life.
Man,
And we are all who we are today because you made the sacrifice to say, hey, man, I see this. I've been dealing with this. I ain't trying to deal with this no more. Let's build a young band. Now we all have successful careers in different paths and different lanes in music and ministry because you were like, yo, I'm gonna just try it.
hey man,
I mean, you ain't got nothing to lose. You ain't got no band.
what am I gonna lose out on?
Yo,
Not
that's
a
crazy.
thing.
So after we do our thing, and it's finally time for us to part ways, you go to Durham.
Yes, sir. Raleigh, Durham.
Talk about that.
Man, it was. Shout out to Montreal Parker,
Shout out to Montreal Park.
which is my cousin. He had been telling me about the open mic situation on a Wednesday night,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, sure, I'll go check it out. And so I go and check it out, and that's why I wind up meeting Lamont Brashard and my other big bro, God rest his soul, Sean Carrington.
Yeah.
I meet these guys, and it's like, yo, this is a whole nother world. Now, mind you, I've been listening to this music, but let me go back. I was playing it because I started doing stuff with Jeremy Mayberry and
Shout out
A-Love.
to Jeremy Mayberry and A-Love, Greenville's
Absolutely.
finest.
My first official movement in music going out of the state and traveling was with him. I did a play. I was
Yeah.
like 16, 17.
Yeah.
So that part, I got it. But going there was a whole different level of musicianship, and they're playing music and they're intentional about what they're playing. Now, we've been learning and doing it, but now
it's been gospel.
yeah, it's been gospel.
It's been all gospel.
It's been gospel.
We did put some Destiny's Child in there.
Oh,
but it was gospel.
for those who didn't know, Pops wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah,
didn't,
like, because you know, some preachers,
Oh,
they ain't about that life. Some preachers are not about the musicians playing secular music life. And Rev was not like that.
And I pray for their bedroom times with their wives.
Oh, wait, because you ain't playing Keep Me to the Cross in that boy.
Unless they play Just Know He Has His Hands on. That's about it.
Skip. Tank, that's good, though.
But yeah, so
He has his hands on me.
but yeah, so now so we get there, and this process is now Montreal has to go out, and I fill in, and once I fill in, he had another opportunity to go do something else, and now I am
The drummer.
the drummer.
So are they something for the people when you meet them?
Yeah, there's something for the people there.
Shout out to Lamont.
Shout out to Mont, big
Shout
bro
out to something
Mont.
for the people. They beasting.
Ah man, look,
So you something for the people drummer.
I have.
And you playing all did you know those tunes?
I did because of my dad. Again,
Wow.
the same way I was hard on y'all about not pumping the quartet all the time.
Oh my
I
God.
didn't pump gospel all the time. So all of these songs I knew because when we got in the car, Pops was like, all right, we're gonna listen to this, we're gonna listen to that, we're gonna listen to this. So my vocabulary was dope. I just hadn't had a chance to officially play it with those musicians.
Yeah.
With those type of people. And so yeah, it came in and I started there. Once that started, that's when the transition to the next church came in because I was in the area.
Shout out Union.
Shout
out Union.
Man, Union was great. It was another learning experience, and it gave me an opportunity to be a little brother.
Explain what you mean.
I was a big brother for y'all, so my time was spent thinking about how to keep y'all safe,
Yeah.
what not to do, how to have this, make sure this was like, this is in line. Okay, if we do this, then we need to make sure this needs to be done.
Yeah.
So now I'm planning everything. I'm on top of everything. Going there, it taught me how to sit back and accept love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm steady giving out. I got y'all.
Okay. Because we did not address something that is important to what you're saying. All along this journey, you're an only child. We can't.
OCS, baby.
That.
OCS. Only child syndrome. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So before us, was it hard being an only child?
Some days.
Yeah.
Because it's I would watch my cousins, Terrence and Crystal Smith.
Crystal, shout out to them.
So
we love them.
Yeah, family. They that's brother and sister. They ain't even cousin. That's just brother and sister. I would watch their dynamic when I was with them, and now when I go back, it's just me. And I'm not saying that I didn't have great times in my household, but you got to keep in mind, Pops is still a pastor, so that means there's movement that's still there. And everything that we do revolves around moving through church. Yeah. So a part of me is kind of sick of church too.
Yeah.
So now I'm my only child, and the only thing we ever go do is church. And I'm just like, I'm burnt. Like,
so
I'm tired.
when we finally get together and we do the band thing, are you thinking about brotherhood, or were you just like, we need a band?
It wasn't the brotherhood just yet. It was more so we need a band. And how can I pull this together and be in charge of it for it to work?
Yes.
So my mindset was on working. Now, what we got out of it was just an organic situation.
It was crazy.
Of being brothers.
I mean, but you have to, because we spent a lot of minutes per week together.
Summertime. Y'all ain't even go back home.
So did that help the only child syndrome?
It did. Because it then gave me a purpose, because now I'm living to say, I got these guys, I have to watch what I'm doing, I got to pay attention to this, and I enjoyed that, because now I have guys to share stuff with in my life.
Yeah, man.
So when I got certain drum stuff, or I got this, or this was happening, yo, bro, it wasn't we got this now.
Facts.
I had the brothers. It became the brothers I didn't have, but I also became the older brother.
You the big brother.
So 100% of what's going on is based off me.
It's you the big brother.
So
then you get with Ma and Sean, and you the little brother.
I'm the little brother.
So how does that affect the only child syndrome? Because now you go from only child to big brother to little brother.
Man,
what is that like mentally and emotionally?
Mentally, it was refreshing. And when I say refreshing,
because you've been taking care of kids as a kid for the last 4 years.
At this point, wiping tails and wiping nose.
Yes, we kids. I'm talking about y'all. I was 12. We are really kids.
Yeah. So when I got with them, it became like, yo, you little bro, we got you.
Yeah.
Like, come chill, come hang, come play 2K. Let's go here. Let's go do that. And it was like, yo, so this is what it's like. Okay, cool. And then it taught me how to trust. Because again, I'm putting everything together. I'm doing everything. Now I have to trust that these guys are going to do what they say they're going to do, and we're going to do this stuff together.
And was it hard to trust at first?
A little bit, because it was uncertain, because it wasn't me doing it.
Oh, talk about that. Talk about it. What are you saying, Tank?
What I'm saying is that I was such a leader that I didn't know how to follow. And to be an effect. Now, through being around my dad and just kind of reading and studying stuff, I figured out how to be a great leader. But there were still some things I missed because I never sat down and followed. Yes, I was under my dad. But when I say follow, to the point where someone is telling me something constantly to do, like, okay, we're playing this. Hey, we got to be here for this. We got to be here for that. I was in the position of doing it without ever really going through that time frame, because even though we had the other musicians there, I was still running, doing whatever I wanted to do. Yeah. I knew we had rehearsal, so I'd be at rehearsal.
Just make sure you have rehearsal.
Yeah, but now it became where you are responsible for learning this part in the song. You're responsible for getting here. If there's a certain thing we need to do, or a certain thing we need to wear, or whatever it is, I now don't call that shot. I now have to hear what somebody else is saying and trust that what they're saying is going to get us to the destination we're trying to get to.
So let's go. Let's take it away from music, and I'm gonna talk about both seasons with the brothers. Away from music, What is one thing that you learned with Lamont and Sean that is not musical?
That is not musical. How to enjoy the moment. Enjoy your life. Yeah. Because and even in later seasons in my life, I would not enjoy the moment. I was so caught up in what's the next thing? What's going to happen next? What's this? What's this?
Why were you concerned with next so much?
Man, because I was so concerned with next because I wasn't always happy with the present. So I felt like if I got to the next, I can bypass what I'm feeling in this particular season or this particular time. I'm already ready for 2023, and I ain't even got to January 6th in 2022. Because I'm uncomfortable with what's going on. So that I learned how to enjoy the moment during that time frame. If we had a show, we had a show. We enjoyed that moment in the show. The next show that's coming up, we ain't talking about it. We ain't thinking about it. Once we get done with this show, we're going to go hang out as brothers.
That's mine.
And enjoy this moment.
I see it in my head because I know how they are.
Yeah, and just enjoy it. We're not focusing on the next situation. Right now where we are is where we're going to enjoy. I learned that from them. And then as I got older, being away from it, I reverted back to old habits, which brought back other situations.
Go there. First of all, where do we live when we go back to the old habits?
Man, old habits. I'm still in Wilson, but I'm traveling back and forth to Raleigh and Durham.
Okay.
And so during this process, I get a call to go out with my first major artist.
Okay.
So I get that call, and things are going great. And then the worst happens. You're no longer doing that particular situation anymore. Because again, I'm the type of person, I got to enjoy the moment, but I'm still looking over here. I was so busy looking over here that I didn't enjoy that moment. And when the devastation came, I was like, yo, what is this?
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
The moment I should have been enjoying, I was worried about the next situation. So now I'm taking my insecurities and everything that happened. I got to take it and hold on to it. And it lit me up.
So you're doing this major gig and then it's over.
It's over.
Where are your emotions?
Everywhere. Emotions are everywhere because, again, I'm in the process of thinking about the next thing. I didn't enjoy it. Well, I enjoyed it, but I wasn't thinking about I'm here, I'm playing, I'm working. Yeah. It was like, well, where's this next thing coming from? Yeah. So now I'm looking at the next thing, but the thing I'm on just shuts me down.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo.
So are we dealing with the feeling of rejection?
Oh, absolutely. I felt 100% rejected because let's keep in mind, during this process, I had already gotten the new show. I got the entire show.
So just without naming names or tarrying, you're playing for this professional R&B artist. Mm-hmm. You're on a tour?
No, at this time, we're just doing consistent dates out.
But a tour is coming. Or
like a solid run, like a solid three months where we knew everything was going.
So you do the run, y'all come home. They're preparing for the next run, send you the show.
Send me the show.
You start learning the show.
And
then you get an email.
I don't even get an email.
What did you get?
I made the phone call.
Sean, so you would not have known that you were fired? Or they would have told you at the last minute?
Probably so. Only reason I found out was because where the rehearsal was supposed to have been scheduled, I knew I needed a flight to get there.
And you're like, I don't got no flight yet.
I don't got no flight
Because they ain't no confirmation number.
Ain't nobody said nothing.
So you're trying to prepare to leave. You're like, where my flight stuff?
Like, what's going on? Where we at?
And what they say?
Yeah, we're going to go in a different direction. Oh, Jesus. I'm like.
Tank, did you cry?
Did I cry? I think I did more cussing than crying.
Tank will cuss before he cry. That's facts. I will cry before I cuss, and Tank will cuss before he cry.
I did more cussing, and I think the cry came later because of not knowing a full reason. And sometimes you have to figure out how to be okay with not getting a full answer to whatever the problem is.
How did being let go from that gig affect you after that?
Man, it tore me down. Confidence was on 2. confidence onto, and because I was sitting in this situation believing that this situation was going to carry me to the next situation. Again, this is me looking ahead instead of being right here enjoying. All right, well, this could potentially lead me here.
So you thinking this right here is the catalyst?
It's about to shoot.
And that did not happen.
It did not shoot at all, Doc. That boy
shot a blank.
Boy, look here. Air. Straight air.
So listen, let's talk. I gotta go. L.A. Because that's what all of it. The situation with that artist, y'all. I'm sorry. I actually know Tank, so I can tell the story for real. So I'm gonna tell it to help y'all. The situation with that artist made you be like, I want to go a whole nother route. The whole nother route is I'm gonna go to school. So you go to L.A. You go to school.
Because I missed out on school.
Because he was with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have went to college. And you decided, no, I'm going to stick with them.
I'm sticking with y'all.
So then you get the chance. You're like, okay, this gig didn't go good. I didn't go to college because I was with the boys. I'm going to go to school. How does that work out?
School worked out great for what it was designed for.
Okay.
Me going into school, I've already been playing. So there wasn't, I ain't gonna say it wasn't nothing they could teach me about stuff. It was stuff that needed to be polished in my playing. Reading, for one. I definitely had to get back on reading because I could read. I can't read. But I was reading saxophone charts most of the time. And so trying to process that. So there's the getting better with music, getting better with playing with click tracks, getting better with listening to other genres, because I've been listening to a lot of different genres, but there was some I was just clueless about.
Yeah.
So school was a plus. It helped me to just broaden my ear and give me some of my confidence back.
Yeah.
Some of it back.
So at this point, you're in school and you're sort of in a low place.
Yeah, because I'm trying to find the next thing, because
You still at this point, like, what's next?
What's next?
Tank, you should not be doing that, man.
I should be in school.
How old are you? Let's give them the timeline. How old are you?
By this time, I'm looking at 25.
Tank is 25, in school. He done helped us grow. He get with the big homies. The big homies lead to the big gig. The big gig gets shut down. He goes to school. He's still saying, what's next?
What's next? And that,
why not be content?
Because I was always taught to do better, to do greater. You have a purpose. This is what you need to be doing. You got to be bigger than this next situation, right? So
now that's drilled in your head, and that's how you're living.
Yeah, and I'm like, I got to get to this. Like, I have to do this. Like, everybody's watching. Again, that's the pressure. Yeah.
Okay, go.
That's the pressure of it, because everybody's watching. Everybody has an expectation of you.
And you want to meet it.
Yeah.
You have dedicated your life to meeting other people.
Making sure that I satisfy other folks and how they view me and what they think my career should look like. And
what do you say today? What would you say to that Tank today?
Man, live in the moment. Get out of your head and realize that where you are, there are people who've been trying to get to that point, and they may never get there. And you're there. Like, okay.
Tank, you've been a professional the whole time. And that's the hoodwink. That's the hoodwink right there.
You talking about getting to L.A. and smooth jazz literally took off for me.
Were you satisfied?
I wasn't.
Shine, Tank.
Because of the rejection and feeling like it didn't have this official, what is the word, je ne sais quoi of a look.
So you on get my bags off get off the plane, get my bags off the tour bus, walk into the arena. That's what you on. That's what you on. And you like smooth jazz.
Like smooth jazz. But get this though, we still playing in front of like 20,000 people.
So what's the difference? Tank, you got to know that don't make sense now.
It didn't, but you got to remember where we came from and what we were looking up to.
Yeah. Because we watching the DVDs.
We're watching all this stuff.
Okay. In our world, watching that stuff, we want to be musicians for a living.
Right.
And when you see that is the ultimate success.
That is success. That is how I define my musical career for success.
A major tour.
A major
arena tour.
Yeah.
is the success.
And here I am working with people who are charting on Billboard like crazy. Grammy nominations are killing the game. And I'm literally playing like, okay, so there's a Catalina Jazz Fest.
Mm-hmm.
It was like my second year doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I played for every artist. And one night they had 4 artists. I was the drummer for every artist that night. Marcus Anderson.
Shout out Marcus.
I think the violin player is Josh Vietti. I feel like Nick Cole was on it, and somebody else.
Nick Cole, baby.
This was like the
killing it.
The young. It was like the new young joint.
Yeah,
like the new young people coming up in smooth jazz.
Wife,
and literally, I'm playing for. Matter of fact, if anybody knows my Instagram, you'll see where I put up the set list, and it's like 40 songs.
That's crazy.
But I wasn't content. I wasn't happy.
So I'm going to fast forward again because we got to go do what we got to do. So, we ain't rushing, y'all. We sorry. We ain't rushing.
Nah.
There's something that me and Tank have talked about that I want Tank to share with you guys before we leave. Tank, I want you to share Ricky versus Tank.
Ooh.
Let's go.
Ricky versus Tank. Shout out to my therapist. Her name is Rosemary Palmer. And I would tell anybody, kill the myth about not needing a therapist. Kill it. You have to find some way to vent and get these things out of your system. So my first session, the first thing she said was, who are you outside of music?
Bomb. She dropped a bomb on you, dog.
And I'm like, who am I outside of music? She's like, yeah. Like, who are you? She was like, from what I'm gathering and all the information I'm getting from you, there's Tank, there's Ricky. Who is Ricky?
Sheesh.
And guess what? I had not the slightest clue, because for so long, Tank has always been entangled with Ricky. So whatever Tank was feeling, Ricky just tagged along. And I didn't know who I was. I couldn't even tell you who I was at that time outside of it. And I'm still learning now. Like, I'm learning that Ricky is a sensitive cat. He has like feelings. He's really like, don't get.
But Tank can't be sensitive when he's making sure 5 and 6 other guys.
Dude,
sensitive. I gotta make sure they ain't sensitive.
I gotta.
We were definitely sensitive.
I gotta put in work with that, and then even coming out from y'all, Tank is now on his own in a whole new state and city.
Yes,
because
when I different time zone.
Yeah, when I moved to Cali, I had like one person that I knew. I think Cornelius was living out there.
Shout out Cornelius again.
But of course, we're living 2 different lives, so we couldn't hang out all the time. So it was just me. So I go from being the big brother, being the little brother, to being on your own. So now I'm
back at the beginning.
So I'm back at the beginning. So now I'm here, but instead of it being me figuring out who Ricky is, it is now Tank leading the catalyst, because my career is in the forefront. My career is what I want to pop off. So everybody I meet, I'm Tank. Everything I do is Tank. If I have a problem and I come back home, Tank had the problem, but Ricky gonna catch it with whatever situation is going on. And I did not know I had that problem until I got with my therapist. I didn't realize that I did not know how to separate the two. Learning that Ricky is sensitive, learning that Ricky wants to feel a certain amount of respect from Tank, which is crazy to say.
No, it is not.
When you sit down, like,
explain that.
Tank is this guy who's played and done a whole lot of stuff, but Ricky has been the heart behind all of it.
But he ain't no respect on his name,
there's no respect on
because Tank going too hard.
Tank is out here. Tank is running. Tank is gigging every night. He's talking to these people, talking to this. But Ricky is like, dog, I'm here with the heart that's giving you the heart and the desire to do it. Because without Ricky first hearing about playing drums or getting into drums, there is no Tank.
Yes.
And so
what would you say to people out there that are career driven to a fault?
Man, I would tell them, check yourself. And when I say check yourself to the point where I need to know that, can I live without this career if I needed to? Can I still function? Can I still live a healthy life without this career. Because if your career is all that's driving you, if something happens, me not having that gig anymore, how am I going to respond to that? Had I had Ricky in line, understanding that Ricky's enough. Ricky can sustain. Ricky can manage. Ricky can make it through this life. If the career of Tank does not continue, Ricky can go on because Ricky has learned how to love himself. He's also learned how to do other things outside of what just music and drums is. So I'm not telling anybody don't chase your dreams, don't follow your career. But if your career dictates how your life goes, check it. You have to check it. And I had a huge reality check that Tank in this career of being a drummer was literally tearing my life all to pieces.
What is the relationship between Tank and Ricky now?
Man, there's respect.
Mutual respect.
Mutual respect. And it sounds like everybody's like, oh, you're talking in two different. It really is. Your ego can become a drug to your life. And Tank was a drug.
So Tank is the ego.
Tank is the ego.
Sheesh.
Tank is a super like this. Hey, I'm Tank, bruh. But
Yeah.
I'm not like that.
But I know you. Yeah. I know what you mean.
So now with them, it's like Tank does not move without making sure Ricky's okay with the move. If it doesn't feel right to him, because again, that's the heart. That is the foundation of Ricky is who I am. Yes. Before anybody started calling me Tank, they knew me as Ricky. So if Ricky doesn't feel like it's a good situation, then Tank doesn't move. Man, realizing that Tank was leading with the concept of what's next. Ricky is leading with what's healthy for you. Like what's going to be the situation that you can come out and still be fine. Tank will be ready to run and hop.
Tank doesn't care about Ricky.
No.
So Tank doesn't care if he tear Ricky life all to pieces as long as we still gigging.
As long as we gigging, Doc. Woo! As long as 7 days a week I'm on some drums and doing something, Tank is fine. But
okay, one more thing before we go. How has that affected your relationships?
Oh man. Relationships, it hit hard.
Yeah,
it hit hard because I was bringing Tank back to the house of Ricky or the home of Ricky, and I was reacting from what Tank was dealing with to whatever situation happened.
Ricky is living.
Ricky's living,
and when something happens with Ricky, Tank responds.
Yeah.
Shine
Tank
a little light.
And Tank is brash. Tank is quick to say stuff. Tank will cut people off and not hear the totality of everything. And it's like, dog, you are murdering stuff right now. You are smacking yourself in the face so bad. But because I didn't understand it, and because that's how I've lived my life for so long, that my career and Tank that's the important one. Because without him is no. If Ricky ain't together,
there is no Tank.
There is no Tank. So, please, gentlemen, ladies, to anyone, just check it. Check the ego. You may not have a Ricky and Tank situation. You just may have a situation where your career is just running. Check it. It's not worth your peace of mind. At the end of the day, being famous, having the recognition doesn't mean nothing if you ain't got the sense and the mind to deal with life. And I had to learn that the absolute hard way. Like depression, suicidal thoughts, like it's
hey, we're
big.
Not going to, I don't care. We're going to get to the thing late. Okay, talk. Go ahead.
Man, just the concept of not feeling enough. Tank didn't feel enough in his situation. So it came to Ricky, and Ricky wasn't able to stand to fight it because I hadn't been feeding him.
So Tank is jacking up stuff, and now Ricky is depressed.
Ricky's depressed because I hadn't been giving Ricky what he needed to sustain through any of this stuff.
So break it down. What's happening? The depression stage. What are we feeling? What are we thinking? What is the days looking like when you're waking up?
Man, I'm going to tell you what's so bad about depression for me. depression was still being a functioning musician. I would be on stages playing, smiling, having fun, but depressed because I'm still looking for that next big thing and it hasn't happened. I'm depressed because I don't feel like I'm there.
I'm going to play through it.
I'm going to play through it. And I kept just sweeping it under the rug. And I saw this quote. I can't remember who it was, but it says, sweeping stuff under the rug, it literally becomes your foundation. Because I'm just sweeping it and letting it sit. So now it's staying. It's just growing. Now it's a part of my foundation. So this depression, this me looking for the next big thing, me trying to move to the next level, and I'm feeling like it's not happening. Like, what is it? Why is it that I'm doing this? And Tank is like, yeah, I got to figure this out. But Ricky is hurting because it's not happening for Tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it gets to the point where you say, I may not want to live anymore.
Man.
How that bad? What is that bad, Tank?
What's that bad is that Tank was surrounding with people. You know, I have relationships with a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And so I celebrate what they're doing. I'm happy for what they're doing. I don't have a problem with them and what they're doing. My issue is, why isn't it me? So will it ever be me? Will I ever get that? Why can't it happen? Why am I walking in on situations where I just heard that what's the ultimate, like one of the biggest things that crushed me, or two things that crushed me. One was going into an audition and talking to who's a homie of mine that already had the gig, and this was just a cattle call for a TV show.
That's trash. So to make that clear, an artist doesn't audition for a band, but a band is already hired.
Oh.
But so the audition is just for optics.
It's so they can bring a camera and show all the wonderful people standing outside.
To build hype around whatever the tour is that we're auditioning for. What's the second one?
The second one is going through an audition and you making it as far as you can make it. Mm-hmm. You get the calls, you know people connected to stuff, you good. And you do not get it. But you don't get it not because you messed up something. You don't get it off an image situation.
You don't look the part?
I reminded someone of someone.
Whoa. You remind me of someone, therefore I don't need that memory on my stage. You killed it, but my mind can't handle that. So now, okay, it makes sense. So now you're in your head like, I'll never be enough.
But the sad part is, yes, I'm thinking that. But the sad part is, I'm still working my tail off.
That's the thing that is blowing my mind. It's like the whole Bay laughing at me. You work. He's never not working.
Never not working.
But there's not enough. Tank, why we not grateful, man?
Because it's not what I wanted. It's not the dream that I had set for myself. It's not what Tank deems as being worthy to tell my homies or my family or people back home, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm Tank. Tank has this.
So
image.
you want a status symbol gig. You don't want consistent work.
To a degree. That's it. I want to be recognized. Tank wants to be recognized for this situation, not realizing there's so much recognition already going on, but because I'm uncomfortable with myself, not happy with what's going on, I don't take the time to realize that. I just realized probably a couple of months ago some of the influence I have. I just realized it.
It is great. I've always known it, but I understand how you could be in it and not see it.
Yeah.
So
too close to the mirror, Doc.
To see what you see. So Tank,
we played for her too.
See, that's what I'm saying, bro. That's another prime example. That is somebody's hero,
bro.
We have done a lot. We have done a lot of stuff, okay. Bro. We just gotta go. We just gonna be late. Number one, we've done a lot of stuff that other people would love to do. Number two, we've been in situations where we influenced what everybody else was doing.
Yeah.
Number three, we've been musicians full time with no other jobs for most of our life.
Hey, look at it, decades.
Crazy. And then Tank like, nah.
Tank is like,
Nah.
that ain't it.
Forget that.
Tank is like, nigga.
So let's go back to it. So then you get to a place where you're like, forget it.
Yeah, and that's because situations happening that Ricky wasn't prepared for. Mm-hmm. So now Ricky has this devastating blow that takes him all the way out because he hasn't had a chance to prepare because he's been trying to protect and carry Tank. So when this blow happens, not only now am I dealing with the situation I got going on, I'm dealing with the music and I'm dealing with my life. So
you saying getting to the place of having suicidal thoughts was now Ricky got hit.
Yeah.
Ricky hit.
Ricky's hit.
Tank been not sweet.
Tank is just running wild.
But now Ricky hit. So guess what? You are Ricky and Tank. If they both hit, what for?
Done.
I get it.
Done. So you're talking about taking a hit with Ricky and having that unfulfillment with Tank mixed in at the same time. And my head was so far gone. Some people will be like, huh, really? And you were still playing? I still did a gig after that. This is how bad the concept of Ricky and Tank is so crazy with me. In the midst of wanting to take my life,
you still went and gig.
I still did a gig.
Tank, that's crazy.
Jacked up, whole nine, still trying to go play some drums somewhere, man.
So, for people who have had experiences where they got low enough to want to take their own life, the fact that you did not do that, what would you say?
Man, the fact that I didn't do it is because I had friends and family that I was able to talk to, and they pointed out that we all have low points.
Yes, Lord.
And is that low point worth you not being here? Is that low point worth the pain you will cause the people that truly love you?
Yes.
And I'm like, well, they ain't going through it. Like, they're not going through what you're going through, but when you do this, they got it.
So at first you were like, but they story ain't my story, and they don't understand.
They don't understand. They don't understand how Tank ain't getting what he really want, and how a pillar in Ricky's life is no longer there. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back because this is good. Is Tank's behavior connected to only child syndrome?
Man, probably so. Because there was a lot of things, even with me doing the counseling and discovering that I was holding some stuff in concerning how my childhood went.
See, we have to talk. Okay, so we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, what about it?
Man, you got to think about it. I'm an only child, and everything we do revolves around church. Everything. I'm talking about from sun up to sundown.
So you're resentful.
I had resentment. I definitely had resentment.
So you grow up and you like, I'm going to work hard to reverse everything that I had no choice. Because I got choices now. I'm making my own decisions.
Yeah. And the things I felt I missed out on.
So you had FOMO too.
Mm-hmm.
God almighty.
Absolutely.
So Tank, I understand listening to your story. I understand the build up and anticipation that leads you to the place of expecting a certain thing and your response to not getting it. Because when y'all have to remember, for those of you that did not grow up with us, Tank's dad is the guy, right? So Tank,
Wilson's finest.
So here's the thing. Tank becomes the guy. And then he gets us. He's really the guy. Because he pulled this off. Yeah. And these jokers ain't playing.
Killing.
So Tank.
Sidebar. Do you realize we made people change how they set their church up?
Yeah. Because yes,
we would go. We had a certain stage plot that we did.
We had a stage plot.
We would go to churches. It don't look like ours
at all.
Come back in like a couple of months,
and it looked just like it.
Yeah,
more than one church.
For those who don't realize, when we say there was an influence there was an influence with my dad and how he did things.
Yes, And so you are taking this there, thinking that this will just be another level of that.
Yep.
I've been the guy. So I'm just going to go over there and continue to be the guy.
Continue to be that guy. And
no, sir. Missed.
You're through. You're through. I was through. I literally was through because I hadn't prepared Ricky for that move.
Yeah, man.
I hadn't built him up to go to the next level and take the rejection. Yes, so Tank, now mind you, Tank is still hurt, but Tank still want to go.
Yes, Lord. He ain't going to stop.
So the emotion.
So Ricky still slowing Tank?
Ricky is like.
Ricky still, today?
No, today not. Ricky's
okay.
Ricky
got it.
Ricky is the guy that says, you know what?
Tank, chill.
Tank, it don't matter.
Chill out, Tank.
It don't matter if you don't get that next major gig.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if this situation doesn't go this way, because if I never get it, am I going to be happy and content with just living my life?
Yes. And that's the best. Okay. Instead of me saying it, I'm going to ask you. What are 3 things, if you can, what are 3 ways that you deal with rejection now?
Man, 3 ways I deal with rejection. The ultimate way for me is understanding that it wasn't for me. More so than having 3 different ways or trying to make myself cope with it, I realized it wasn't for me. One of the analogies I use sometimes, it's not an analogy, it's kind of how I think of things. You ever been running late?
Mm-hmm.
And when you're running late for something, it seems like everything is stopping you from getting out the door.
Yeah, the lights running longer. All the cars are driving slower than normal.
And then when you get down the road, there's a major accident. If you were on time, you could have been in an accident. So I look at it where if it was my time to do it, then it would be smooth, right? If I got there and it wasn't right for me, I'm now in that accident. So I'm okay with the rejection because that rejection is saving me.
It protected me from the accident.
It protected me from it. So I don't look at it as a rejection.
I look at it as protect.
Yeah. I got protected. Like, there's so many things I look back at that I didn't get a chance to do.
Yeah.
I'm protected.
Yes. Yes.
I'm protected. I'm literally protected.
Dude, do you know how many things that I wish I would have done? And now I look at my life and I'm so happy that it didn't happen. But I never thought about it like that.
I'm protected, bro.
We think it's reject. Because she used to tell me that. That's why she's shaking her head. We think it's rejection, but it's protection.
I've been protected, and I had to realize that.
That's dumb crazy.
Yeah. So now when something doesn't go right, when it's time for me to leave, I don't trip because I'm like, there may be an accident I'm protected from. So if I didn't get this right away, that means whatever was in that situation was probably going to tear me up to where I couldn't function, I couldn't move. I've been protected. So I don't look at the rejection as a hurt. That's just like when we always hear there's never a failure, it's only a lesson.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Exactly.
I'm not mad. I'm not resentful. I'm not hurting. I'm being protected from something that would tear my life all to pieces. So I'm protected. I'm okay.
Y'all, we out.
For sure.
We out. That's it. That's the thing.
Yeah. So don't look at it as it's not meant for you. You've been protected from something. And what comes is going to be the most amazing thing in your life.
Much sweeter. It's going to be so much sweeter.
Yep. Those are 2 things I would say take away from this. You're protected, and that, man, enjoy the moment. Do not do what I did. Don't have all these great opportunities, and in those opportunities, I did not enjoy it. I got to see places that people dream about seeing. I got to play and work with people who are absolutely amazing. But because I felt the way I felt, I did not enjoy it. And if I can go back and do it again, I would have enjoyed the shine out of all of that stuff.
Yeah, man.
I really would have.
Yeah.
So if I had to do it over again, that is the biggest thing. I would enjoy it. It's not about the journey that I took to get there. I would have figured out a way to enjoy it. Yeah, man. So enjoy, and you're protected.
That's it, y'all. Peace.